up, Blockheads? I am on my way to the garage where I have coordinated for all the parts and tools to be dropped off by Mrs. Blockhead. So today we are... Oh, come on, stay green, stay green. Alright, it stayed green. So yeah, today, it's actually later in the evening, I'm going to be installing a tank lift, a coil, an ignition relocation kit, and doing a wire tuck. So kind of a lot of stuff on the plate. I don't know how long it'll take, but... Oh shit. Somebody get rear-ended? Damn, that sucks. Dude was holding his neck. Hopefully everybody's okay. So you see that van right there got rear-ended, which is a huge van. If that was like me on a motorcycle, man, bad news. One of the things that really stuck with me whenever I started riding is, actually it was during that group ride with my buddy Jacob, and one of the things he noticed, person just laying on the ground. One of the things he noticed is whenever I would come up to like cars that were stopped at like an intersection or whatever, and we would stop side by side, he said sometimes that I would stop kind of where my wheel was like angled, or like I was in the center of the car, right? So meaning if somebody rear-ended me, the bike would basically go smashing right into the car. And so basically what I started doing is, instead of pulling directly up behind the car, he said you need to basically stop kind of off to the side of it, so that if the person behind you is going to end up rear-ending you, like, you can scoot forward. And also, if they do end up actually rear-ending you and you don't scoot forward, it kind of propels you not into the car in front of you, but like off to the side, right? So you're making basically the best out of a bad situation. So food for thought for all those of you that are stopping right in the middle. Additionally, if you stop in the middle, that's where all the car's oil and stuff drips down, the AC, you know, condensation and all that. So step on that, your feet end up getting slippery. So that's not a good place to stop either. So one of the things I did want to talk about while on this ride, just to kind of give it some kind of subject matter, was how to purchase a motorcycle. Ever since I put up that vid that basically was talking about, ow, bug, shit hurt. On that note, do as I say and not as I do. You guys should be wearing jackets, basically all the gear all the time. Very nice. All the gear all the time. ATGAATT. You learn that in the Motorcycle Safety Foundation course, MSF course. And I am being stupid and not abiding by that rule. So anyways, ever since I posted up that that video talking about why I bought an Iron 883, I've gotten a lot of people asking me how I went about buying the bike. So if you're thinking about buying a bike, obviously there's couple things you need to not even a couple things, a lot of things you need to look at, a lot of things you need to factor in. You know, if you don't have any experience previously riding, you know, that's a big factor. If you do have experience previously riding, like I had experience with dirt bikes when I was growing up, and other ATVs, like 4-wheelers and 3-wheelers and all that stuff growing up. So I had a little bit of exposure to, like, you know, motorcycles, like I said, dirt bikes. Obviously, a couple of the big things you need to consider. Number one is your finances. So money. You know, because motorcycles cost money. Unless you're like a trust fund baby or you're independently wealthy, which most of us unfortunately are not. You know, I make a decent living, you know, I'm grateful for what I have, but I'm by no means like super rich or anything. But like I said, I'm very grateful for what I have. And I've worked hard for what I have. But if money is an object, obviously that needs to be one of your key focuses. So you need to be able to basically spend within your budget. And one of the best ways to spend within your budget is to buy a used motorcycle. Now I know a lot of people buying like their first bike are going to be like, oh yeah, but I don't want to buy used. Like, you know, I want my first bike to be a new bike. Well, let me tell you the difference between a used bike and a new bike. The biggest difference is the price. The dealership, aka the dealership, is going to charge you an arm and a leg for all this other crazy stuff. They're going to tack on dealership fees, they're going to tack on, you know, I mean, obviously tax, title, tag, you got to pay for that anyways. But so the key factors of buying a bike, you need to figure out your budget and what you can afford per month. You need to focus on your credit score. If you don't have credit built and you're going to need to take out a motorcycle loan, or basically a loan to finance the bike, then your credit is going to play a huge factor in what kind of loan you get, like what you're going to be approved for, the APR, the percentage of your loan, what you're going to be charged per month, percentage-wise based on that loan. If you have good credit, it'll be a lower percentage score. And there's all sorts of lenders that are running specials all the time. So yeah, you need to figure out basically what your budget is, like the type of what you're going to be paying per month. You need to focus, like I said, on your credit score. If you have a good credit score, awesome. If you have a bad credit score, I don't know what happened previously in your credit history. Maybe you got identity theft or something, but you know, you need to try and clear that up just so you get a better rate. And if you have bad credit for any other reason, maybe you shouldn't be buying a motorcycle. Maybe you should be focusing on getting your credit good and you know, responsible spending. And by no means am I preaching to you. I mean, I bought a motorcycle. Do I need it? No. It's nice, it's convenient, gets good gas mileage, you know, I can justify it a little bit. But did I absolutely need it? No. It's just like, when else am I gonna do it, you know? I'm in a professional career. So on that note, timing, you know, you need to make sure the timing is right. If you're wanting to buy a bike, you know, just kind of make sure you factored in everything. You know, do you have a kid on the way? If you've got a kid on the way, it's probably not the best time to be buying a motorcycle. You should be saving up money for that kid, because kids cost a lot of money, I've heard, which just basically, once again, boils down to timing. You know, if you're about to be buying a house, probably shouldn't be buying a bike. Just, you know, make sure you've got your ducks in a row before you commit to buying a motorcycle. So yeah, timing, money, finances, credit score. Another thing, obviously, is whenever you're buying the bike, like I said, you can buy new or you can buy used. I had so many friends, so many previous people tell me to buy used, and I bought used. This bike at the dealership would have cost me $7,000, and that's before taxes, title, tag, everything else. That's a used bike from a Harley dealership. So what I did is I went on Craigslist and I found a used bike. The used bike, exact same bike, same year as a 2013 Iron 883, or the XL8A3N, and it had 3,100 miles on it. The one that they were selling at the dealership had 3,300 miles on it. The one at the dealership also didn't have the Harley Davidson logo on the side. It was like a blacked out tank, which I didn't really like. I mean, it's my first Harley. Of course I want the Harley Davidson logo on the side of it. And I paid $5,700 for this. So that's a difference of $1,300 bucks, and after tax, title, and tags, it was barely over $6,000. And I put $1,000 down, basically ended up getting a loan. I've got good credit, and so my payments were basically, boom, like lower than what I had anticipated. In addition to the payments on the bike, you also need to factor in the cost of your insurance. And there's all sorts of different levels of insurance you can get out there. Me personally, since I'm financing the bike, the way that my loan worked is like they actually don't have a lien against it. They just gave me the money and they said, here, go buy a motorcycle. And basically I just have to pay them per month, and they trust that I use the loan. There's like basically a clause in the agreement that I signed for the loan that I would actually use it for what I was getting the loan for. And I mean, why would I apply for a motorcycle loan if I didn't want a motorcycle? I guess there's shady people out there that would, you know, do otherwise. So yeah, I ended up taking out the loan, bought the bike. I ended up putting $1,000 down, so it lowered my payments even more. Saved up money for it. I sold a lot of stuff beforehand that I didn't really use anymore. You know, just got rid of like, you know, an amp, a guitar amp that I didn't use, an electric guitar that I didn't play anymore. I sold, you know, a couple other things that were, you know, like basically bumped me up and made the payments per month a little more comfortable. You guys notice a recurring theme here? A lot of it is focused on money. You gotta have money for a bike, man. They're not cheap. So another thing that most people probably won't think about is, in the factor of like getting a motorcycle, is gear. So whenever you're buying a motorcycle, basically you need to have, you know, proper gear. I've got a jacket, like a textile jacket that breathes really nice, and that was like on the cheaper end. I think that one was like $150. It's from Cycle Gear, built. It's a nice jacket. You know, gloves, these ran about like $20, and that's like, once again, on the cheaper end. I've had a lot of people asking me about these gloves as well. These are they're called Rebo gear, like carbon fiber knuckle gloves, leather on the bottom. I like them, and my buddy recommended me to get them just in case like somebody ends up trying to come into my lane. I can, you know, knock on their glass and they'll hear it like they wouldn't hear that. Anyways, so gear is going to be very expensive, and helmets. I haven't even started talking about helmets yet. If you guys haven't looked at helmets, geez, helmets are expensive. I bought 2 helmets. First helmet that I bought was a half helmet. It was one of those, you know, German style, really, like, I don't know, cool looking World War II German style helmets. And, you know, I use that for my shorter rides, my shorter commutes. That helmet cost me about $100. You know, it's DOT rated and all that, so obviously you want to make sure any helmet is minimum DOT rated. There's a couple other ratings out there as well, and if you want to get those, then cool, they're usually a little bit more expensive. So in addition to that half helmet, for longer trips I wear the full face helmet, and so I wanted a modular helmet. With the heat in Florida, I wanted to be able to like lift up my, you know, my front face like this. So that's really nice. The entire front of the helmet comes right up. It's considered like to be a full face if you were to just like look at it, but you would never really know it's a full face unless there's a little tab on the bottom that pulls up and it locks into place with these like metal bars on each side. It's nicely ventilated. I'll actually have to do a gear like helmet review one of these times, but it's an HJC IS Max 2. It has a penlock lens, or a penlock capable lens. I haven't got the penlock yet. And so that cost me about, I want to say that was like $280 something. I mean, I can post up a link, but you know, definitely not cheap. You don't want to go cheap with your helmet. I mean, I looked up tons of ratings and reviews about it, and it had all great feedback, from ventilation to safety ratings. I like the look of it, and I ended up buying it because it was great. Also, you want to factor in the head shape. So gear is going to cost you a lot. I mean, you got to have gloves, you got to have a jacket, you got to have a helmet, you got to have boots. You know, people get like Kevlar lined jeans, all sorts of stuff. So you want to make sure you have the right gear. I'll continue with the rest of it here in just a little bit.
2,000 years later.
Ooh, it is chilly on this ride back from the garage. What up, cyclist? So yeah, doing a little night ride back from the garage. I'm going to go ahead and continue on the topic that I left off on. Actually, just to mention really quick, I did a tank lift, which you guys probably cannot see at all, but I'll end up throwing that up on like Instagram and all that good stuff. So you guys will be able to see it on there. You guys go check that out. Instagram.com/blockheadmoto, or just blockheadmoto if you're already on Instagram. Search it, follow it, love it. So yeah, I got done with the tank lift and I put the chin fairing on there. So, but as I was talking about earlier, basically talking about, so like if you're wanting to buy a bike, there's a bunch of things you need to consider before pulling the trigger. And a big focus on that obviously was finances, you know, money, because it all kind of boils down to money in terms of getting a loan and your insurance. And I think I left off on basically gear. So you need to make sure that you have money for gear. I actually ended up buying gear before I bought the bike, because like I knew I was gonna buy it, and in order to make it seem like it didn't hit me, like all those expenses didn't hit me at one time, you know, like I researched helmets, I researched you know, pants and boots and all sorts of other stuff. And so I bought it beforehand just to kind of ease the cost of it a little bit. So I don't know if that's something you guys would want to do. There's tons of reviews for gear up online that you can find. A website that really helped me out like a ton was Revzilla. So I don't know if that's somewhere that you guys would want to check out, but it helped me out quite a bit. Also, in regards to helmets, people have different head shapes, so whenever you guys are researching helmets, you know, figure out what head shape you have. Revzilla has this thing where basically the helmets that they have listed up, it'll say like oval, intermediate oval, round, and all that stuff. So be sure to figure out kind of what head shape you have. Go to a local store, see what brands fit you the best. There's a bunch of helmets that I tried on that didn't fit worth a damn, and that's because they weren't my head shape, even though like I really liked them. There was this one helmet by Bell. I think it was called the Bell Rogue. And man, the helmet looks awesome, but it did not fit me at all. Like, it was just total garbage. I mean, it wasn't garbage for those people that have that head shape, but it didn't have my head shape, so I couldn't wear it at all, even though I wanted it really badly. But I'm happy with the helmet that I got. So also, if you're thinking about buying a bike, you need to basically make sure that you're being safe. And if you don't have any, even if you have experience, you should sign up for a motorcycle safety foundation course. So like an MSF course. Here in Orlando, there's a couple dealerships, actually Harley dealerships even, that offer the MSF course. I want to say it's like, can't even remember, like $100 or something like that, but we ended up taking it, Miss Blockhead and I, and it's a 2-day class. We ended up signing up for it, I think it was like a Monday, Tuesday or something like that. The instructors were really awesome, you know, I mean, from the bare minimum, like baby steps, to learning how to, like, you know, where the friction zone is with the clutch, you know, how you're supposed to shift from, you know, first to second, how to get into neutral, how to walk the bike, dealing with like hazards in the road, you know, stopping distance. There's just so much that they go over that you probably wouldn't think of, like, if you were to just like buy a bike. I think it's actually required in some states. Like, I know in the state of Florida, you have to have one of those courses in order to get your motorcycle license. So a lot of people end up buying a bike and then they take the course. Me personally, I took the course because I didn't know if I was really gonna enjoy the bike thing, you know, like I hadn't rode in like a long time. And so rather than risk not enjoying it, I took the course first. That kind of wetted my whistle and I was like, hells yeah, I want to buy a motorcycle. So sign up for the motorcycle safety course, regardless if you've been riding for a while, if you're brand new to it, either or. So, I mean, there was people in there that were veterans that had been riding a while, so definitely not a bad thing. Highly recommend signing up for it. Fogging up like crazy. So yeah, what have we gone over so far? Finances, insurance, gear, motorcycle safety course. I guess, like, the important part of it is actually buying the bike. But I think I'm going to dedicate that to a whole different episode. I will lightly touch on that in this one. Basically, you need to figure out what kind of bike it is that you want. Damn, this is some dark segment of road, yo. So yeah, you need to figure out what kind of bike you want. You know, I wanted a cruiser. I wanted, like, more specifically, I wanted a Harley because fucking America. And man, it got really cold all of a sudden. My arms are frozen right now, yo. So yeah, I mean, some people might want a sport bike, you know, other people are gonna want cruisers, you know, some people might want like a dual sport. You gotta figure out what kind of bike you want, and the big thing is go and sit on them, you know, ask the dealership about them, figure out as much info as you can about the bike, basically before you buy it. I do go over quite a bit of stuff as to why I bought the Iron 883. You know, it's a great bike to start on. You know, it's not too huge, it's not too heavy, and yeah, it's just a really nice, well-rounded bike, especially as a starter. So, skirt. Anyways, yeah, the next part was obviously you need to figure out what kind of bike you want, and then just research the hell out of it. Me personally, like I said, I wanted a cruiser, so it came down between choosing from the Iron 883 or the 48, both of them Sportsters, and I went with the 883 for reasons in this video right here. So if you're considering an 883, you know, check out that video. It's gotten lots of good comments and people saying that they got theirs for the exact same reason. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a sports bike, then cool, you know, like research whatever you're looking for. If you're just starting out, you know, like a lot of people say 600s are like a good starting point. A while back, you know, years back, I actually wanted a Yamaha R6, which I've heard is a really great bike. I think in the future I'll probably end up purchasing a sports bike, just because you know, like to have a little zip around town and stuff. But you know, for now, I really like the Cruiser. So the reason I didn't purchase a sports bike right now is because, I mean, I'm early 30s and I don't want to be crouching over a damn gas tank where my back is basically hurting by the time I step off the bike. So personal preference, you know, like I'm choosing comfort over crotch racket. But the cool thing about the Iron and the Sportsters is I'm choosing comfort and style because they're fucking stylish, son. Little scooter riders. Yeah, I'm choosing comfort and style over having a crotch racket. But, you know, to each of their own. Let's see how these scooter peoples go now. Man, she is barely on that seat. Like, she is hanging off. Is that, what is that I don't think that's a scooter. Is that like a little Grom? I mean, they were keeping up. It might be a little Grom. Anyways, those are just a couple of the things you should be considering before buying a motorcycle. I hope the video has helped you guys out. I mean, obviously there's probably even more to consider that I'm not touching on here, but, you know, very important ones, you know, financing, basically, you know, money, you know, some other costs to consider that you might not think of, like gear, like insurance, you know, having good credit. If you're getting a loan, you know, if you're buying it outright, buying new, buying used. And in a future video, I'll actually go over like what you should look for if you're considering buying a used motorcycle. Whenever I bought mine used, I had this whole laundry list of items that I went through, and I checked the bike, you know, before I actually ended up agreeing to buy it. So I'll do that in a future video. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, be sure to give it a thumbs up right down there below. And if you're not subscribed already, be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Do yourself a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button while I polish my gas cap. Oh, it's so cold. Pro tip, if you're cold, your engine is warm. My arms are cold, so I'm gonna hold my glove against my engine, which heats up the glove, and then I hold the glove against my arm. Oh, it's fucking nice. So warm. Ooh, oh, it's hot. So yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. Thank you so much for your continued support, and I mean, the channel's growing really well, so I really appreciate it, guys. Until next time, you guys ride safe, stay vigilant, and I will catch y'all later. Deuces.